Okay, this is an interview with Harlan Atkinson at his home on February 23rd, 1987. And Harlan can recall something of the old Archie Schmidt's house site and the cellar depression that's believed to be the old Muir framed farmhouse cellar depression. And I think I'm just going to let Harlan take the mic and just kind of, in a general sense, tell us what he knows about that site and what he can recall. I should say, too, that he has sketched, to the best of his recollection, a sketch of the site showing the approach lane, showing the positioning of some of the yard shade trees and where the house sits in relation to those and so on. Harlan, if you'd like to comment then on some of the things we've been talking about off the tape, that would be of great help.
Yeah, well, as far as I know, the road is in the same place, and the basement was, I think, as far as I know, it was dug out of where the old basement originally stood once upon a time, and there used to be three trees out back, big trees out back, and a chicken house, and then the house was built pretty much new at the time when I used to be down there, and Archie built it pretty much himself, all of it, him and Irvy and the boy and Ernie, and I don't, there was no pines at that time there, but there is now, and I think probably the rest of it is pretty much the same as it is now, as far as
Harlan, I'd like to have you describe, you mentioned earlier off tape that it took a number of years. Archie constructed the house over a number of years, over some time, and went about it kind of slowly using materials from the home farm and hand sawn oak and that sort of thing. And if you could kind of date the period of construction for me, that would help. And also, if you could comment specifically on what you recall about the old Muir cellar depression before Archie dug it out. How deep it was, how big it was in terms of its peripheral size, and so on. That would help.
Well, near as I can remember, the old basement part, or the old basement, wasn't very big. It was just indented with some stones on it, and then as far as the house, I'd say, I don't know, I would say it was built between, must be 40 and 45, somewhere in that neighborhood, because I used to go down when they were working on the house. It was new, and we ran together with Archie's son, and that was somewhere right around 45, 46. So.
Okay.
So.
About the chicken coop, you described that as being a crude or primitive, old, weathered, unpainted structure that sat, according to the sketch, it would be a bit, well, to the east and maybe a little to the north of where the house is there. Is that an accurate description of that building? And also, we should document that Archie Schmidt's constructed that building or brought it from the old home Schmidt's place, so that we're clear that it's not a Muir relic.
Yeah, no, I think Archie brought that or built it there, because he used to keep chickens and round in it and stuff. So I think it's one that he had built, or else had brought up there with him. So, but it was back on the back side of the house where he drove in. So.
You would say then that the house or the cellar depression that Archie built on is sitting amidst the large silver maple trees there in the yard, and it's also positioned on top of the high point there, the knoll, which has a southerly slope going down to the spring meadow that lies between the house site and Fountain Lake. Is that accurate?
Yeah, that's where near as I saw it, it was sitting there, and it was about where the house is now. Yeah.
What would be the rough distance between the house site then, where it sits there, and say the big spring down in the meadow? How many rods would you guess that would be?
Possibly could be could be 30, 40 rods down to the lake from the house by going through from this way, because we used to walk down from the corner of the road and it wasn't quite so far that way, but from the house wise, there was quite a lot of brush down below there then at that time. So.
Did you have a nice view of the spring meadow and onto the lake from the house yard?
Yeah. At that time, there was a lot of red willows and stuff down there at that time below yeah.
Okay, Harlan, that helps. I think that's about all we need. You've pretty well covered it, and that will help us to further document then the original Muir house sighting on that Fountain Lake site. And I want to thank you for your time here at the kitchen table today. And leaving the Fountain Lake topic and just asking you another question, who owns the observatory hill that Lewis Randall and I climbed today? I see that you have some signs posted along the base of it. Who all collectively owns that site?
I own part of it, and there's a estate, Carey Estate, from where are they from? I don't know. It's a state. Carey Estate owns 40 acres, and on the back side up here, and Joe Hull owns 40 acres from there to the road, and Alan Turner owns the rest over on the other side.
So Alan Turner, yourself, and was it Joe Hull? And then there's 40 acres is owned by the state of Wisconsin, is it?
No, it's Carey Estate.
Oh, the Carey Estate. Okay, I see. Some people by the name of Carey, their estate. Who owns the actual promontory at the top that has the rocks and the high point there?
I think the dividing line is right about on the top there. Hull and Carey Estate. Yeah, between the two right there. Yeah.
Have you heard any talk ever or recently of the state DNR purchasing these lands for a state scientific area?
No, I haven't. No.
No one has contacted you interested in buying lands or anything? Okay.
No, nobody has so far. No.
Well, thanks again, Harlan. That's where we'll leave it today, and appreciate your time.